We have not thrown away market.
Absolutely.
So what we do, presently economic theory uses the market to make money for the entrepreneur or whoever, maximizing profit. That's the whole purpose of using the market. We said no. What economic theory has taught us the wrong thing. It says human beings are driven by self-interest. That's the essence of all economic theory. I said that's absolutely wrong description of a human being. To me, human being is driven by self-interest and collective interest. Economics never had collective interest in their thesis. So they're all addicted to the money. So they became money-making robots. We say this is economy is something which is helping the society and so on and so forth. I said economics doesn't help the society at all, because that humanity is taken away from economics. There is no chapter in economics which talks about human values, human qualities. All they talk about maximization of profit. So we have become one-eyed monster. So what I'm saying, I said, look, we are using glasses, single focus glasses, only see self-interest. I don't see anything else. I said, what we are suggesting in our way, we said we are having bifocal glasses. We see the self-interest, at the same time we see longer interest, which is the collective interest. I want to solve the collective interest. So the self-interest business makes money. That's fine with us. But if you're looking for the collective interest, which is a must, because as a human being, this is what we do. We want to solve the problem of water, global warming, food, and whatever we all talk about. This is our responsibility to solve it. Through business is a good mechanism to solve it, but not the money-making business, social business. Business which doesn't aim at making personal money, business which is designed to solve people's problem without any intention of making personal money. That's what we call social business. That's the kind of business we are trying to promote, we are trying to continue and spread all around the world.
As you said, Europe and our countries, we suffered a huge blow because of COVID. The reaction in Europe to COVID was the so-called recovery plan from the European Union and implemented by the European Commission, that basically is going in the direction you suggested. So you have to give money to the people to help economy to make a safe transition to a more environment-oriented economy, for instance. Is this a good way to proceed? What is your opinion on this approach?
First, to clarify, I never argued for giving money to people. I said business.
Business.
Giving money means charity. Charity never solves problems. That's my position. And if you transform that charity into a social business, suddenly you're very strong. Because now you know exactly what is happening. Are you doing the thing in a way you can recover his money and so on? So I say, charity money has only one use. It goes out, solves a problem, and never comes back. I said, I want to use this money in another way. Money goes out, solves the problem, and comes out. That's a social business money, because it's a business, it's a transaction. So I use market very, very much. I depend on the market. But our intention of using the market is different. Not to make money for myself, but to solve the problem of the people. So this is the direction we go. We talked about the COVID-19 pandemic situation, a very sad story. By the time in the middle of 2019, we have been arguing all around the world, telling the vaccine will be coming soon, but today you must declare vaccine as a patent-free vaccine. It will not have intellectual property rights, so that anybody, anywhere can produce it. Some countries responded to it, many countries didn't respond to it. As a result, what we saw, what we said about the world as a global village, suddenly we saw this is not a global village at all. It is isolated islands, distances from each other. They're always putting attention to their own people. They couldn't care less. So all the vaccines which are produced went to the 10 richest countries of the world. Still now. By now, there are supposed to be 70 million people to be vaccinated in the poorer countries. Only 16 million people have been vaccinated up to now. Now new antiviral pills come out as a replacement for vaccine. Same thing. 10 richest country already bought up the entire production of this antiviral pills for the next year. So you are rich, you buy it up. It doesn't matter who. So I said we created a system, economic system, where money becomes supreme. People's life has very low attention, low property. So we facilitate the pharmaceutical companies to make millions of dollars, billions of dollars by doing that. We don't care how many people are dying because you are hiking up the prices, you are not allowing the patent right to be removed and so on. So this is the kind of situation we are in. Now I'm arguing, to finish the story, I'm arguing now going around to create immediately a series of social business pharmaceutical companies which will not be interested in making money, which will be interested in bringing vaccines and medicine at an affordable price for everybody. Today, it doesn't happen. You'll see in medical industry or pharmaceutical industry, you'll see where you, for a penny, you want to sell things for dollars because people are desperate to cure themselves, have a cerebral situation of diseases and so on. So you're forced to pay rather than help you to overcome your problem. Thank you.
Well, the only problem is that you have to develop the vaccines and that it takes an enormous amount of money. So the problem is whether you would be able to do it with social business to have the amount of money that you need, which is, I mean, your issue is very clear. I mean, it's true that we develop vaccine should go to everyone immediately as fast as possible, and governments also put a lot of money in the development of machines, but either we change completely the way in which medical development, the way in which medicines are developed, or it's difficult to have enough money to develop the vaccine. But I wanted to go back, Maurizio, if I can, to what you were saying, individual interest versus collective interest, because there is two very interesting features of microcredit, because microcredit, I think, it's a fantastic example of how you can work on individual incentives to lift them out of poverty. And you did two main things that maybe it would be interesting to explain and to understand better. The first one was that, of course, women were empowered. So money was given to women instead of men. And most of your borrowers at Grameen Bank were women. And so there is an issue of why women are better at giving back money and using the money that they get instead of men. It's a crucial issue. And given that we're talking about social inclusion, we're very interested in that. The second thing is that a lot of the credit was done to a group of people. There was a social element there was a collective responsibility towards the credit, in the sense that there were a group, if I'm not wrong, who were responsible for the credit. So the idea of self-interest in that context changes completely, because if one of the people in the group doesn't give back the money, all the others now lose the right to have more money. So essentially, this vision of a social responsibility is also a way through which you manage to make the whole system more efficient and to work better and make sure that people are giving back the money, no? Which is a different framework from a framework where you have individual responsibility. I think it's very interesting. So it's a very articulate way of elaborating on the idea of collective, if you want, going beyond individual interests, I think.
Just to clarify, that idea that the group is formed so that one person's failure can be taken care of by the remaining members of the group so that they can pay back. That's absolutely wrong idea, wrong things that have been said. For example, Grameen Bank never did that in their entire life. Loan is individual loan. You are responsible for your loan. Group is formed so that you feel stronger. We always say if you go a mile as an individual, it's good. But if you're 5 of your friends, you go some more miles with confidence. So you feel strong because these are the women who never had any experience of working with another person. So this gives a tremendous amount of confidence that they could do that, and we are asking them to have a weekly meeting so that you gather each other and talk about each other, what you do and so. But not the responsibility of paying back somebody else's loan. If we did that, probably they will all leave very soon because they said, why should I pay for somebody else? But somehow it got into discussions and so on and so on. So this is one. The reason we got into microcredit, as I explained many times, that it was loan sharks, victimization, and so on. We're trying to protect the victims of the loan sharks. That was the beginning. But then when I started it, I saw many dimensions of it. I saw that people take money and make use of it. Everybody said, no, they will just eat it up. You'll never get the money. Why we went to the women? Because in Bangladesh, when we were doing it in the beginning, we were looking at what the banks do. Not even 1% of all the borrowers of other banks happen to be women. So I challenged them. I said, what is this? They said women don't want money, they don't know what to do with money. So I had an idea. Why don't I exclusively go to the women? In the beginning, I didn't dare to go exclusively because I had no idea. I said 50% of our borrowers must be women. It was a tough job. Women said, no, I don't know what to do with money, please go to somebody else. So we had to go and encourage them. That's why the group was needed, so that if I have friends together, maybe I should do that. So that happened. The reason we gave the money to start a business, even in bank literature, you'll read many times, it's an income generating loan. It's not loan for buying refrigerator or something, or some household utensils. This is an income generating loan. In other words, you start a business with this money. Later on, I come to a very solid decision. I said, all human beings are born as entrepreneurs. Our economic theory has given a completely wrong impression on human being. They said you have to have a job. Job is the ultimate of human being. I said that destroyed the whole human being. Human beings are pushed into slavery again. You have to work for somebody else. I said human beings were never born to work for somebody else. Human beings are born as an entrepreneur. I sometimes say that when we're in the caves, we're not going around sending out job applications. We just went out and did our own thing. This is our tradition, this is our history. So we, in our education, in our theories, we pushed away that entrepreneurship. Human beings are packed with unlimited creative capacity. When you take a job, your creative capacity is abundant. You don't need it. So we're coming back to that. Finance is very critical for entrepreneurship. Finance, I say repeatedly, finance is the oxygen of entrepreneurship. The people remain poor because they're always looking for a job, because nobody gives them a penny to start any business at all. So the moment you start bringing the money, their initiative to start a business comes up. And all these 9 million borrowers or 9 million women who are working, they're not looking for jobs. They started business and paid back the money and paid back the money anymore. So I said, our education system is wrong. Our schools, our universities tell our young people, work hard so that you get a good grade and you get a good job. I said, this is the wrong message. It should be work hard so that you become a very solid entrepreneur. And banks will be waking around. The moment you have an idea, business idea, they will say, oh, we're here. We created a whole slew of this by creating Social Business Venture Capital Fund. Tell the unemployed young people, come with a business idea. We invest in your business. We become your partner. So if you can return the money, then it's 100% owned by you. You go ahead with it. So we are saying, go back to the origin, redesign entire economic thinking, that human beings are entrepreneurs. We are not job seekers, we are job creators. That's the direction we should go.
Professor Yunus, since you first illustrated your theory on microcredit, a lot of international bodies, institutions took from it. I myself, being a reporter, I remember, for instance, in a couple of occasions, the African Union, the G20s. Of all these events that happened in the last 20 years, probably,